Welcome to the Pickleball Recovery Podcast, where we highlight products and practices to help you feel better faster, so you can spend less time stiff, sore, and injured, and more time on the court doing what you love. This podcast is sponsored by AlloMD. Don't just mask pain, eliminate it. AlloMD provides intense relief and advances continual repair for both acute injuries and chronic pain. All-natural, patented technology developed by doctors to get you back in the game fast without the use of opioids, steroids, or NSAIDs. AlloMD, harnessing the power of pure natural ingredients that provide deep, penetrating repair. Patented, validated, natural. Learn more at www.allomd.com and make sure to use the discount code PBR at checkout to save $5 off your order. What's up? Welcome to another episode of Pickleball Recovery. I'm your host, Tim Ringgold. Great to be with you. Did you play any pickleball today? Did you play yet? Or maybe did you need to rest today? Maybe you need a rest. Why don't you just sit down and rest, sir, ma'am? I know I need more rest than I'm giving myself right now, and I'm not even playing that much. So it's hard. The struggle is real, and that's why this podcast exists, is so that we can find out what are the techniques, what are the modalities, what are the routines that can help our body, recover more quickly so that we don't have to just sit down and sit out. Gosh, I feel like a kid in elementary school on detention. Like, you sit down over there and think about what you did. No, I can't. I just want to play. The plight of the pickleballer. So this episode, I'm interviewing Ryan Hellriegel from Rolflex Recovery, and Ryan reached out to me over the interwebs. And boy, I was so impressed with their product, and it's just an ingenious design, and it solves a very specific problem. And that's what I love about all these different products in the recovery space. Like, we have problems, we need help. And this one's very specific in what it does. So if you've ever struggled with tennis elbow, pickleball elbow, golfer's elbow, carpal tunnel, or like shin splints or calf issues, or like gastroc or soleus or Achilles, like tight lower extremities, or like the second half of your extremities, from like elbow down and from like knee down, boy, does this problem or does this product like very specifically help you. So I'm excited to put it on your radar because, the more we know, the better we can do. So here you go. Let's just jump right into it. Sit back, relax, enjoy the ride, and I'll see you on the other side. Ryan Hellriegel, welcome to Pickleball Recovery.
Hey, thanks, Sam. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, great. So excited that you reached out because when you reached out to me, I didn't know what Rolflex was. And I was like, Rolflex sounds like it's probably up my alley. Let's click on this and see what this is. And then when I clicked on it and looked at what Rolflex was, I was like, oh yeah, we're going to hang out. So you gotta start out by telling me, how did you find me? Because you kind of, pinged me on Instagram, and I was just like, hey, how'd that happen?
Absolutely. Yeah. So we're definitely, two peas in a pod, in the sense that I found your website, I found your podcast, and talking all things recovery. I found it by simply typing in Pickleball Recovery on Google, and your SEO was out of this world, and you grabbed pickleballrecovery.com and just did a nice cold reach out. And at the end of the day, since we're on that same mission, I know we'll jam perfectly well. We have so many things to talk about. And I'm excited to kind of dive into it and just enjoy some time getting to know each other.
Awesome. Well, it's nice to hear that story, right? Because as someone who is and we talked about this offline, that we're both more in-person people. The online world, it's still a second language to me. It's not my native way of being, right? So just saying SEO, still makes, steam come out of my ears. But I know that it's what I utilize on a daily basis as a consumer to solve problems for myself is Google, right? Google is my go-to. And I teach my kids, like, don't come to me, go to Google. Like, just type in exactly what it is you are going to ask me. Ask Google. You're going to get way better information. And I recognize in some ways I'm making myself irrelevant to my kids, but I find that I'm better in the wisdom category than the knowledge category. So I'm going to stick with come to me for the wisdom, but go to Google for, for the knowledge.
Yeah.
And so when I'm looking up a problem that I'm having with my body, which is my most expensive piece of pickleball equipment, where do I go? I Google it immediately. I go onto YouTube. I'll type in, shoulder pain, or I'll type in calf pain, or, elbow pain, right? Whatever it is, body part, insert body part here plus pain. And, and then
Please
someone did the hard work on the back end, right? And thought about me, and they knew they had a product that could solve that problem, and they put two and two together and figured out the SEO to do that. And so thank you for saying that, because it makes me feel really good, because that's a quiet and often frustrating pursuit of building all that stuff on the back end. But what we're here to do, you and I are here to solve problems for others. And that's why we are definitely cut from the same cloth and kind of like a little frickin' frack. So let's start out with your kind of backstory. Like, that's how you found me, but how did you either found, tell me about the origin story of you and Rolflex.
Yeah, absolutely. So Rolflex has been around for about 6 years, and it's a little known tool that we like to say is the secret sauce that nobody knows about, right? It's been around for a while, and it tends to be a product and a tool that is completely by word of mouth, because it is quite literally the weirdest looking tool that once you use it, we call having your aha moment. You use the tool and you go, holy shit, this thing feels amazing. And I actually found the tool that way. So the tool's been around for, 5.5, 6 years now. And I was at a random event, and some person, a sales rep, walked up to me. It was like, hey, you look like you're limping. I have something that'll help you. And I'm like, all right, sounds great. Cool, let's do it. And he put this weird looking tool, and it's weird, on my leg. And after 5 seconds of him using this on my leg and showing me how to use it, I had my aha moment. And that was to connect simply that what Rolflex is trying to do, and then I'll tell you kind of how I got involved in Rolflex. Rolflex's main goal here is to simply mimic a massage therapist's thumb. So if you look at this center ridge and this high density roller here, it's just to mimic a thumb. So they're trying to mimic a massage therapist that you or I playing pickleball or playing soccer on our calves or our shins or our carpal tunnel, wherever it is, that we pay masseuse to go in and dig in there with their thumb where it hurts, where we don't want it.
Oh, yeah.
Now you can just do it yourself. So once I had that moment, I became a huge fan of Rolflex. And the story is actually super crazy, because at the time I owned recovery clinics, and we didn't talk about this yet, Tim, and I still own them. They're like recovery centers here in San Diego, which is where I am right now. And Rolflex pitched me on being a retailer and shelving them on their shelves. We became good friends. I helped sell their products on my shelves, back and forth, back and forth. And in the middle of COVID, the founder of the company and I were just hanging out, grabbing lunches. And one day he was like, Ryan, I think the skills that you have could be a huge asset to the company, and I would love if you could be a partner in this with us and join the Rolflex team if you feel that's a good idea. And I'm like, absolutely, sign me up for the recovery tool that I fell in love with, that I thought was super weird when I saw it. I was like, I'm game, so let's do this. So I've been involved with Rolflex now for about 2.5 years, totally by chance, totally by the simple fact that somebody showed me this secret sauce tool, just word of mouth, put it on my freaking leg, because I didn't even know how it worked. Like, what is this weird looking clamshell device?
Torture device.
Yeah, it looks like something out of, maybe the 60s, 50s, maybe 1800s. Yeah. Torture device. And I'm so grateful that person did. And he's now a good friend of mine too, the sales rep back in the day.
Nice.
Because it's been a tool that we've changed over 100,000 people's lives by now with.
Wow.
People buy us primarily for tennis elbow, and in this case, with your podcast, pickleball elbow. which is just tendonitis of the elbow on the outside, golfer's elbow on the inside, carpal tunnel
Yep.
on the wrist. And it's been a wild and fun journey. And I just feel lucky because I can talk to people like you that love recovery, your listeners that are looking for different ways to recover, to stay active, stay in the game, and not only in the game, but progressing.
Yeah.
And one of the main ways you do that is by keeping mobile and keeping flexible and not having pain. So that's the story of Rolflex and kind of how I got involved. And it's a story that even as I say it out loud, feels like so aligned and so like not real, but it's like I'm very grateful, I guess is my point.
I get it. No, I totally get it. And that's an awesome story. It is a great feeling to be, like you just used the word aligned, where it's like, you're not showing up to go do something. You're basically being yourself. And like, this is a natural expression of what you're into, and I'm having the sponsor of this podcast, Ultimate Repairix, is the pain and tissue repair cream, and Aloe MD is the company that makes it. We have had a very similar journey together. They put it on me at a tournament. My back instantly opened up. I'd never felt anything like it on my body before. It was a truly first in class moment, right? That was 18 months ago. And then as it's gone on, we've just partnered more and more and more. And now I'm training all the trainers in like 25 Lifetime Fitness gyms all over the Western US, how to use the product. And I'm working with this company now, almost full time at this point. And it's been great because of this exact same thing, where it's just like, I know exactly what this thing does because I've been putting it on me. I know exactly how it's going to help you. It's reliable. Yep. It's going to do what I say it's going to do. And your eyes are going to light up and you're going to love me. And then your clients that you refer it to are going to love you. Right. And so it's like, they're going to love you. I promise.
Just passing the good vibes and the solutions along, which makes it easy and makes it not a sell and not a thing, because at the end of the day, you had a personal experience first. I had a personal experience first. I had my aha, holy shit moment. And then from that way forward, it's kind of just like a serendipitous chain of events that, it's just like another form of flow. Like when we're playing pickleball or whatever sport we're doing, surfing, sailing, soccer, triathlon, whatever it may be, when we get super laser focused and we almost feel like time dilates and we have that flow, or you're playing pickleball and you feel like you're absolutely unstoppable. Well, I just feel like when these serendipitous things happen like that, and with you, and I'm sure with all your listeners from time to time, it just feels like a more prolonged, zoomed out state of flow where like everything is just kind of working.
Nice.
And
well said.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's fun.
It's so fun to serve and help people and help, like, it's just like an extension,
Totally. Yeah. It never gets old. I delight in quote unquote my work. I don't even call it that. It's not work. I play for a living. That's the way I see it, because this is just, and what I noticed early on in pickleball is that, most everyone was over 40. That's trending younger, but it was at, 3 long years ago. That was at least the course that I went to. And they were all wearing some sort of body armor, and then they would disappear, for 6 weeks at a time. And I'd be like, where'd you go? Oh, I had a hip. Oh, I had a knee. I had an ankle. I had a calf, like they gave birth to something. Yeah. They gave birth to an overuse injury. And as I started to watch people and myself start to drop like flies with, various injuries, one of the biggest frustrations is your game suffers because you're not out there playing. And if you are playing, you're playing in pain. So then you're not playing to the ability that you can. And that was really evident recently. My coach could tell I was carrying shoulder pain because of the way I was not extending my follow through on roll volleys. Like, it was like, he could just see it. He's like, wow, your shoulder's really hurting, huh? And I was like, how did you know? And he's like, well, you're just really guarded. You're not opening up and releasing the way you should and the way you normally do. And I was like, it was so obvious to him, and that when I feel better, I move better. When I move better, I play better. And and even the pickleball recovery guy, like, I didn't even see it because I was in the middle of the frame, and he was outside looking at the frame, and he was like, this is troubling you, and found a solution to it. Right. And now my shoulder is working a lot better. In fact, my shoulder is working better than it has in 3 years. And I am a Pied Piper about the book that, helped. And I'm going to have a episode about it coming down the line here, because anytime something works for me, I want everyone else to know about it. And it's like with paddles, someone gets a new paddle and it's got great power or great spin. They tell everybody about it, because it helped their game. And it's like, yeah, but if you are injured, that paddle does you no good sitting in your bag while you're sitting at home. And in pickle, we have this overuse injury, right? Everybody loves it. It's so fun. You just want to play more and more. And then there's this dynamic in doubles where you don't want to be the person that leaves, because then all 4 people have to stop playing. So people often get locked into playing more games than they want to, right? So there's this overuse issue. And you talked about something briefly, and you nailed it. And it's something that I talk about at the booth a lot with people, which is, when you exercise, you damage, you tear down, you injure micro tears in your muscles. And if you don't rest, that doesn't heal. And then you go out next time, it stacks new trauma on old trauma, and then next time, and then next time. And then you finally start to present with inflammation or pain. But that didn't happen overnight for a lot of these injuries that you and I are really in service to help with. So can you talk from your own experience, kind of riff on that a little bit? Because I was like, as soon as you said it, I was like, yes, go with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So repetitive strain injuries, right? Like whether it's the tennis elbow, pickleball elbow, golfer's elbow, carpal tunnel, shin splints for soccer players growing up, or even now, it all is an injury that occurs over time. So that's building up of tension. It's from hitting. If you're a musician, playing, drumming, it's this compound of tension building up in your forearm, your elbow, your wrist, your feet, whatever it may be. So by definition, if there's a stacking of tension being created over time, the way to release that tension would be to release it where your mind goes, which is to relax it. And how do you relax it? What first comes to mind? It's a massage. So think about any way that you can elongate a muscle. You can massage a muscle. You can use the percussive guns that gets blood flow to an area. But at the end of the day, that's only one piece to the pie. Getting the blood to the area you need to recover is the first step. The second step is elongating that tension and releasing that muscle tissue and tendons and just rubbing through it and rubbing it out. So we're all, as humans, always trying to push through for ourselves, for our friends, like you mentioned. Like, you don't want to let your friends down. Like you're playing doubles, you guys have some good games going, and you're going to play through it. Well, your body's going to remember you playing through it and by forms of tension. So, you can think meditatively, like breath work, that's like mind release tension. Muscularly, hot tubs, cold plunges, red lights, sauna, massage, all the different types of modalities that are out there. But at the end of the day, what we notice with Rolflex is that there is a ton of ways to relax it. We love the use of all the support of different forms of creams to relieve the muscle. CBD, whatever works for you, arnica, whatever works. But we realize that a lot of the physical tools that come out, like the Tyler twist tools, they're all for strengthening that muscle that is already tense. What about the lengthening? What about the release of the tension? So to go back to that, that's what we made this for. Like at the end of the day, to show your viewers real quick, like this weird looking shape is nothing more than a way to apply a lot of pressure by squeezing like a nutcracker. And now you can get in like a massage therapist and roll out through that tension, through your wrist, up into your triceps and your legs.
That's cool.
Your arms.
That's great.
So if you have tight calves and shin splints because you're running on pavement all day, like it's all just repetitive strain.
Totally.
And it's
pickleball played on concrete right? And doubles where you're constantly running up to the kitchen, hitting the brakes, moving laterally while you're dinking, pop up, oh, got to reset, move back to the transition zone, back up to the kitchen, slam again. You know, having come from soccer to pickle, like the muscles in my lower legs, you know, particularly on the lateral side, were just like, they were never put through that kind of ringer before and are always hot and bothered. I can just, there's one spot on my right leg and it's like, all I have to do is just touch it. And it's like, you could have any password of any website. I'll give it to you right away. It's so angry all the time.
So inflamed. Well, that's what happens when tension's built up over time, right? As you very well know, and I'm sure most of your listeners know, but if they don't, as tension builds and builds and builds and builds, well, it gets inflamed. And when it gets inflamed, it gets very sore. And when it gets very sore, it gets very painful. And you don't want to touch it. You know, that's why first line of defense, you need to decompress all of that pressure. And that's through using CBD, creams, blood flow moving around, just like using your hands.
So what I'm hearing is that this is a tool that you could be using as prophylactically for maintenance as well as for acute treatment.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, at the end of the day, people come across our tool, whether it's by word of mouth or it's by simply looking on Amazon for keyword, back to SEO in the beginning, keyword problems like tennis elbow massager, arm pain relief. They already have the problem. They're looking for the solution. You know, I'm guilty of it and human condition stuff, right? We don't want to always get ahead of stuff. But yeah, it's something that like I will do before an exercise, like before I run or a bike or playing pickleball or whatever I'm doing to really loosen up that muscle, get the blood flowing. And it's definitely something that you can do to prevent it and recover from it if you're already on that later stage, like where it's already causing you all the pain, like what's going on with you. You know, and especially with shin splints. Oof, it's the worst, man.
Yes.
It feels like they're going to create bone spurs every time. Like it hurts so bad. And you got to be
what people aren't going to do? They're not going to stop playing.
I know.
No,
but it's so good. Pickleball is so fun, you know?
They're not going to stop.
All the racket sports. It's just so fun because it's so much camaraderie. It's like, I think that's the thing that has on a lot of other sports. You can really just, at any age and skill level, people can come together and not feel overly out of the skill range. As somebody that's been playing for years. You know, like playing soccer growing up, like if you're a good soccer player, like you really only want to play with good soccer players because then you get together like that. So
tennis very similarly, like there's a big difference and there's the learning curve, you know, before you're pretty good and can hang, you know, like in pickle, you can play with, you know, there's a wider variance like that. And that's what's fun. Like I was telling you that my first partner was 44 years older than me. And I was like, only in pickle. There's no way. There's no way. And I think part of it, jokingly, it's the name. I think you have to be a certain amount of laid back and playful in order to play a sport with the word pickle in it. And so I advocate that we never change the name because it's kind of a filter to keep kind of tightwads out of the sport.
100%. Keep it loose and fun. There's a lot of really funny pickleball companies coming out right now, whether it's balls or paddles or whatever, that are like actually jumping on the bandwagon of pickle and like really echoing how funny that could be or how you can make it really funny, you know? And it's really good to see that because I mean the sport's lighthearted, which I'm sure is a huge reason that it attracts so many people because it is like it takes the seriousness out of it. Like we're just having, you know.
Yeah, for most people, their day job or their family is serious enough. You know, they need a change of gear. So we talked about tennis elbow, talked about shin splints. Probably the two biggest areas I see. Any other hot spots that Rolflex kind of can get in and get to that wouldn't be obvious?
Yeah, absolutely. So the number one reason that we're actually purchased, and we do this through looking at all of our thousands of reviews, we skim all of the words that everybody has written to find out the most common denominator one. Tennis elbow, forearm tension, carpal tunnel, shin splints, tight calves. in that order,
Yeah.
those five.
Yeah.
So we can get behind. We're very, with it mimicking a thumb like that,
Yep.
we can get into the wrist crease
Mm.
and into the hand for things like carpal tunnel as compared to, of course, I'm a huge fan of all the gizmos and gadgets because I own Rolflex.
Yep.
Doesn't mean I use everything else, and like,
Right.
not biased. Like, I'm being honest, like that backstory of how I found the tool,
Yep.
that's like the reality of it. But
Yep.
if like I have everything next to me right now, right? And this
Yeah.
isn't because we're on a podcast, like this is like my life, right? I run Ironman. I do a lot of crazy sports. So like I need all of this stuff.
Yes.
You can't roll out your hand or your arm like on something like this. And then of course the lacrosse ball is outside. I have one of these
Yep.
here. With something like this or lacrosse ball, you can't get enough pressure here or roll through here with enough pressure.
Got
Think
it.
about your calves when you're trying to roll on the ground.
bro.
You can't get enough pressure
It's
because you're
never.
limited by your body weight to create the pressure. So
Yeah. Yep.
with that, you can make it back to the point of like you're really sore and it's really tender in that spot, and you like
Yep.
even touching it hurts.
Yep.
Well, the cool thing is you just squeeze softer. Like pressure modulation is the biggest thing with this because you control it completely. So
I like that.
in
I like that
all
because
of,
I'm a wuss. I'm definitely a wuss, and my physical therapist has thumbs of death, and he
Yeah.
abuses me weekly,
all.
and I pay him for it, which is really another podcast episode for probably or a different podcast completely. But yeah, I mean, it's like I'm almost crying, oftentimes, and it's like sometimes too much of a good thing is no longer a good thing, right? It's like I would just like a little less pressure, please. Can I have a little less pressure?
yeah,
But you don't want to be the guy who's like, But with this, you get to modulate it yourself, and you control the amount of discomfort that you're in. You put yourself in, so you can only blame yourself for that one.
It's so nice. Like a lot of people, some of their massages that they want, like I'll speak for myself, right? Like I go to a massage and sometimes the masseuse is really in sync. It really knows what I want, right? And other times I'm like, more there, less there, more there, less there, higher, lower. I end up trying to guide with my voice where to go as compared to like put the power of a thumb, a massage, not for your back, obviously, it's for arms and legs. In the hands of yourself, and you'll know where to explore and find. It'll teach you a little bit about your body. It'll teach you how to familiarize yourself. And through that pressure modulation, the control of this weird thing, you can now kind of do it yourself. So yeah, full circle on the question. As far as legs go, with a lot of pickleball players, a lot of them have IT band syndrome. So like the top of the knee stuff. Rolflex gets in there, shin splints, tight calves. And because I'm doing a lot of running, like just to show, it's kind of weird. I've never really done a live showing of this.
All right, here we go. Live demo. You saw it here first, folks.
Yeah. Let's see what we can do here. So I'll hold my leg up, but the Rolflex is nice. You just size it different. You make it a little bigger.
Okay.
And then simply roll it through the calf. Like
Does it matter which direction you're going? Should you go towards your heart, away from your heart? Doesn't matter. Does matter.
Yes, we want to get technical. Always up towards your core because it'll help flush it too.
Yep.
But when we're just trying to explore, like shin splints, right? I don't know if you can see through there.
Oh, right there.
Like that
Murder.
is such a hard spot to hit right through this track of the shin.
Absolutely.
Where you can control and grip it. And I'm telling you this, it'll create way more pressure than you will ever want on your legs or your arms.
Wow.
And we have like all the different densities too. So you can, I mean, this is like the one that it comes with. We found it to be like medium density. Like it's the most effective for the most area.
Gotcha.
And we have like an extreme, like really, really firm one. And we actually put a caution on it because people look at it. It looks weird, right? They don't know what it is. They start using it and it's really firm. We put a caution on it. Like I'm not like on the packaging where when they buy the one that has the orange, the firmest one, like will bruise yourself like a masseuse will. Like, be
Wow.
careful. Because
Wow.
we want to A, make sure everybody's like getting what they want, which is to recover, not get hurt, and also
Yep.
obviously to protect ourselves. Yeah, it's wild, man. It's like the simplest device. We have all the patents that we could have ever dreamed of and hoped for. I have two business partners in this. One is a physical therapist.
Okay.
He's the one that invented and co-designed this product, because he was massaging and adjusting and manipulating people all day, and his forearms were fried.
Yeah.
So he did this tool to help himself to stop asking his sweet wife to, hey, honey, can you please massage my arm? And
That's
then my
funny.
other partner is a lawyer. So like on the patent side of stuff, we're
Smart.
approved for utility and design. And it has to be at this point 35 or 36 countries, including America. So
Nice.
we have like this, like the design, the mechanism of approach. We're just trying to get it out there. We're just trying to
Yeah.
help people. We're trying to go
Yep.
a little bit away from only word of mouth to like doing more stuff like this. So once again, I want to say like thank you for having me on and us on,
Sure.
because it's so fun. And
Yeah.
that's a little bit about kind of like what it covers and what it does. I hope I answered that question, didn't tangent too hard.
No, it's all good. It's all good. And I was thinking about like that's a great like different things fit in your bag. Like when you're going and playing a tournament, a foam roller doesn't fit in your bag. So how do I engage some myofascial release, some trigger point therapy while I'm traveling for a tournament? Oh, look at that horrible torture device. That thing's
So,
terrifying.
right, you probably had this in soccer, and these things are portable and packable, but you always end up using more arm
Yeah.
strength to create the pressure,
Yep.
and then your arms
Yep.
are tired, and you never really got where you wanted. So
Yeah.
it's Rolflex is smaller than this is, packs down even lighter. So just
Nice.
to address the portability thing you're mentioning, that's why we made it kind of the size as
Yeah.
well. Like I just have this here. It actually has a bunch of dust on it. I never use it, but this is like from soccer, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
I love all the gizmos and gadgets, but
Yeah. Me
to
too.
make packable, perfect.
No, yeah, I like the design in terms of that ability. And then just like I'm thinking about, your forearm and your calf, they're kind of a similar part of the appendage, right? Beneath the knee and beneath the elbow. The muscles are kind of almost organized similarly. There's some symmetry between the two of them and how they link up with the foot and with the hand and how they support the foot and the hand and the wear and tear that they get. There's a mirroring there between the two of them. And so I can see how this product really kind of addresses that very specifically, very efficiently. So let's say, like how often do I use it? How long do I use it? Can I overuse it? Is there a minimum amount? Like in terms of the application of it, what's the best practice?
Yeah, protocol. 2 to 3 minutes, 2 to 3 times a day. So
That's it.
that's if you're trying to recover from something acute, right? So like if
Brilliant.
you already have your injury, you're
Yep.
like listening to this podcast, you're on Amazon, you're typing in that stuff, whatever it is, and you have that thing and you're like, I need to get through this.
Yep.
2 to 3 times a day for 2 to 3 minutes, and start a little bit softer than you want because, right, like a massage, if you just jam into that thing,
Yep.
not good. Like use relative like pain common sense, I would almost say, in the modulation of it. With that being said, for all of these very acute and or wide and varied, just having tight quads or hamstrings or whatever it is,
Yep.
we have a whole suite of 20 videos because this tool is a blend between a PT tool and a recreational recovery tool, which is why it looks weird. So it takes a little bit more knowledge and skill and like
Yep.
understanding of the body that some of us have and some of us don't have.
Yep.
So my business partner and I, we went through, and I didn't kind of give a debrief on who my business partner is other than he's a PT. He's the NBA training specialist for the NBA. So what that
What?
means is I completely did him a disservice. So let me say that again. NBA training specialist for the NBA.
Wow.
And NBA teams fly him in specifically for very specific injuries or tightness of certain muscle groups that they have, to educate their trainers and their players on how to get through something. So we have, his name is Nicholas Bartolotta. We have Nick Bartolotta in every single video, 2 to 3 minute videos, super digestible, super quick, showing you how to use the Rolflex, how to use it specifically for this. And there's a couple layers of like recovery techniques, right? There's like, Rolflex is not just a massaging back and forth type of tool. Okay. It's also like an active release trigger point tool. There's a bunch of different therapy techniques that you would see a professional for. Yeah, we just guide you on. We can't say that it's like actually fully that, obviously.
Sure.
But every single conceivable injury for arms and legs, we have created a video just to walk through. And we actually offer that for anybody that in general just wants some more guidance, if they can find a different way to not use the Rolflex and like just wants to learn how to best address an issue. We have that whole thing, our website, it's rolflexrecovery.com.
Nice.
And it's just like a suite of PT-led videos to help people.
Awesome. Yeah. I was about to say, where do people find you online, but you just gave it to us. Rolflexrecovery.com.
Yeah.
And then how do people follow you on social?
Oh, yeah. Rolflex is with one L. So ROLFLEX recovery.com.
There we go.
Always type double, it rediverts, but just in case anybody's wondering.
There you go.
And then same stuff for Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We host all of those videos on YouTube too. Some of them back fully. They're all Rolflex Recovery is the handle. Back to the SEO in the beginning of this podcast. Some of our videos have 500, 1,000 views. Some have 60,000 views. So
wow,
we've just been super lucky. Like we're trying to help, and obviously it's a business and the business has to run and all that. But basically the way we boil the company down is, for the price of one massage or less, you can massage yourself, learn about your body, have a recovery tool, bring it with you, share with a friend, whatever. And that's how you find us. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was going to say the same thing. When I saw the price point, I was like, that's less than one massage and you own it. So it's a great investment. You're going to get your return on it. I also want to give a shout out because on Amazon, there's a ton of review videos that are all super complimentary of the product. People who have gone out, bought it for themselves, tried it, and then took the time to shoot a video and load the video onto Amazon. That is more trouble than it sounds, people. So like, you want to know that when a product has a bunch of Amazon reviews that are videos from Amazon users, then there's something good about that product. So, because either people are going to take that time if it's really bad, and then they're going to take that time, but less if it's really good, and they're not going to take that time if it's just okay. So that's definitely, high five to you guys. You've made a great product that people are raving about. So well done.
Thank you.
I can't wait to get it on my leg and on my arm. I'm super excited.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And thank you for that. Yeah. We're so fortunate. At the end of the day, half of the reviews come through like, this is my first time I've ever made a review on Amazon. And I'm doing it because it changed my life. And I'm not saying this as business. I hope your listeners, if they're watching, can see sincerity in this. Yeah. They're like, after years of dealing with this and just supplementing it with a brace or a band, which are effective near-term solutions. Yep. I needed a real solution. And this thing, it looked weird, but I gave it a try, and it changed my life. A week, 3 weeks, a month, whatever it is, reduced my pain by 70%, 90%. Completely gone. I can hold my infant again. Like some people that have pickleball elbow or tennis elbow, they can't actually like do all the other things, lift a gallon of milk, it's. Yep. So yes, thank you for taking a minute to mention that. Amazon has been a huge blessing. We love to send people to Amazon because it's very familiar to people, and we have thousands of reviews, and like I said, hundreds of thousands of buyers and happy customers. Yeah. At the end of the day, buying it from our website, Rolflex Recovery, You get a very like guided experience where like as soon as you buy the product, you can select before it even comes to you what your specific injury is. Like we send stuff to you and we will send you the specific videos to get you ready for when it comes and get you excited and help really curate an experience.
I love it. I love it. Well, gang, listen, go to rolflexrecovery.com. Check it out for yourself. And Ryan, thanks so much for joining us on Pickleball Recovery.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Tim. This has been absolutely amazing.
You got it. Thanks so much for listening. Did you know there's one place on the web for all your recovery needs? It's at www.pickleballrecovery.com. You'll find all the products I personally use and recommend, along with exclusive discounts on many of them, as well as my blog where I help you make sense out of all the different products and practices out there to keep you moving and feeling better so you play better. After all, your body is the most expensive piece of equipment you own. Also, do you want to know the number one mistake picklers make that leads to increased pain, soreness, stiffness, and injury? Just head over to pickleballrecovery.com and download my free guide to playing with less pain and more enjoyment. Listen, pickleball makes us feel young at heart, but not young in body. So go download my free guide at www.pickleballrecovery.com. See you next time.